Hey, let's see who the first person to show up is. Yes, I did get a haircut. Actually, I cut it myself. Hang on a second. I can't do this on camera. You can no longer drink alcoholic beverages on YouTube videos. They will automatically demonetize your content. So let's see. It's been 20. Someone's here. I get a thumbs up. I can see it. That usually means that Bradley? Who's here? It's not showing anything. One person here. Who's here? Jeremy Russell. That was my next guess. So it is about mid-afternoon. I'm just doing a quick live feed. It doesn't even have to be a quick live feed. Just doing a live feed. Hey, Steve, I just accepted your friend request on Facebook. Sorry it took so long. I don't Facebook often. So no, I don't have a video to go up on Thursday. I may do a live feed tomorrow, just for, New Year's Eve. But it's been a rough holidays. I know you guys probably have heard me talk about it. It's been a rough holidays. This is the worst year since my father passed. I don't know why, but this year has been really, really rough. So I am not gonna lie to you. I haven't sharpened any knives. I have not made any videos. I have basically spent time with my wife and daughter. I took my daughter, I'm gonna put up a video. Actually, that's what I'll do. I have a video to edit. I took my daughter around. There's a couple of really, really insanely decorated houses here in San Diego. So the other night, the day after Christmas, my daughter and I, it may have actually been Christmas Day. I can't remember. But at any rate, we just got in the car, just me and her, and we drove. It was like 2 hours driving, and then we came back here because in the car, we were taking turns playing music, and we both discovered that I like a lot of the same music that she does. She didn't think it, she was like, I'm kind of surprised. So we sat in my living room and hooked my phone to a Bluetooth speaker, and she and I listened to music for like 3 hours, just taking turns picking a song, showing her songs that my dad had showed me, like Jim Croce and things like that. It was a good evening. And so we've been just doing family stuff. So apologize, there's no videos. If you've got knives with me, I'm probably not even gonna work on getting them done until after the beginning of the year. You know, I needed a break. I needed a something. I needed some family time, and I got it. So I ate the creamer for my coffee. Hopefully everybody had a good holidays. I can honestly tell you, I don't even have a knife in my pockets. The wife and kid got me a Pittsburgh Steelers sweatshirt. Pardon me. So, I mean, I know that I've had a couple people send me emails and ask me questions, and I haven't responded to those, and there's been comments. I do read all the comments. I just have not felt like responding to anything lately. I did make a huge pot of chili yesterday. On that stone. What stone? Adam, I honestly don't remember what we were talking about. Or Adam. Was that Adam? Aiden Miguel. I don't even remember what we were really talking about on that. Guys, my beard is glorious. It's getting unwieldy. Oh, stonewash. Yeah. No, that's fine. I can do that. I just need to know what you're looking for as far as a stonewash. Are we looking for? Okay, so that's a good question because it's really hard to explain. I think I responded to you. So what I'm having happen is some of the higher grit stones, the 2000 grit especially. So as I'm sharpening, it picks up a little piece of the burr and it embeds into the stone. And I can hear it click by and things like that, and I have to surface it out. But it's happening like all the time. And the other thing I'm having with those stones is, and I really feel bad, they are great stones if you're not sharpening as much as I am. I can only sharpen like one knife and then I got to resurface. But the way I resurface is I have that glass plate on my entire bench. So I move everything, I wet it, I put down the aluminum oxide powder, and then I resurface it just to take off that top layer because they load up. And then I have to clean the stones, and I have to clean. No, not like this. The DMTs are completely different. These are a resin-based stone, so they're more like a water stone. But anyway, I have to resurface the entire stone, like in between every knife, which a lot of people are like, oh, the plate. I don't use the plate. That's what that whole big glass was, because my plate is dished and it was only cleaning the ends, not the entire flat. So now I have basically a tabletop that I put on top of my bench. So I have to clean my entire workbench off after every knife. I have to take the glass off. I have to clean the stones. I got to clean all it, because you can't get that aluminum oxide on anything. It's just a hassle. So every time, and it's just, so the thing is, the benefits of those stones are not outweighing the problems. So doing a little bit of research, and I talked to Cliff Stamp about it, and he says I'm generally right. There's a few steels out there that it wouldn't work on. What I'm doing is I'm using the lower grit diamond stones to get to a point, and then I'm using my aluminum oxide and Chaucera stones, because the fact is aluminum oxide is a 9 on the Mohs hardness scale. Diamonds are a 10. The only thing that you can cut aluminum oxide, because it's basically sapphire. It's what chemically makes up sapphire. The second hardest substance on Earth is that aluminum oxide matrix that sapphire is made of. It's the same thing, garnet. So basically, that's like garnet powder, which is like it's aluminum oxide powder. So it's embedded in a magnesium concrete. So what's actually doing the work, even on my Chaucera stones and things like that, is the aluminum oxide, which is a 9 on the Mohs hardness scale. The 99% of your carbides are going to be in the 8 range. So does it take a little bit longer? Yeah, but I'm not having to do as much. So I'm just using the aluminum oxide. People can, oh, you get carbide tear about. It won't cut those carbides. It's a 9. It will cut the carbides. If you're telling me that, because CBN is no harder than a 9, people are like, oh, you got to use CBN. CBN's a 9. It's not a 10. The only thing that's a 10 on the Mohs hardness scale is a diamond. CBN and aluminum oxide are the same hardness. They're a 9 on the Mohs Rockwell scale, or the Mohs hardness scale. So your carbides are around 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5 on your aluminum oxide stones. So I'm not concerned about it. I've never had an issue where I've even thought that I had carbide tear out. I've done knives on both stones. I'm not seeing a difference under a microscope. Even my microscope or my friend's, which is much, much stronger. My mustache is getting long. You know your mustache is too long when you swallow your upper lip eating a sandwich. You're like, oh, I got my lip in there. Too much. So there we've had our sharpening rant. And I got a knife from Nico that has been here for months that is in desperate need of being reprofiled. The other issue, they came back. Heard Shapton Glass had issues on S110V. I have sharpened S110V on my Shapton cream. I've sharpened S110V on aluminum oxide. It cuts just fine. Actually, it sharpens really well, especially if it's ground thin. So I haven't seen any issues with that. I think the only thing you need to worry about with but why? It's cutting. That's what I'm telling you. Like, oh, it's going to fatigue the metal. It's not, because everybody's thinking, oh, it's going to eat away the metal around the carbides, and then you get carbide tear out, and you get metal fatigue. If you don't have to worry about it, on a CBN, then you don't have to worry about it on aluminum oxide. They are both 9s on the Mohs hardness scale. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, I don't, these preconceptions and things like that. Cliff Stamp said, there are some carbides that are 9s. But then you're getting into those super, super weird, crazy, like tungsten carbides and titanium carbides, some of them. So, like, in the big scope of things, I'm not concerned. The only time you would have to really worry about metal fatigue at the edge is if you're generating very much heat, I think. That would be my take on it. That's where you're getting some fatigue. You get, I keep hearing that metal fatigue and all these edge fatigue at the edge. I'm like, you know what? I don't see a difference in the edges. I don't see a difference in how they hold. I don't see a difference in how they chip. The only only knife I've ever really had an issue, the only steel I've really had an issue that chips a lot is S30V. And I don't think that's fatigue, and I just think that it's just too brittle. I think that steel is just too brittle, or it's the way it could be like the old Elmax thing where a lot of people are like Elmax is crap because ZT and a couple other companies had I think what had happened was ZT and a couple other companies had just cut those edges too hot. They didn't use enough either flood coolant or they weren't taking enough time in between passes and quenching it, or they were running a belt that was probably a little bit worn, a little too fast. I always do, like when I cut an edge in, I try to wet the belt, but you know, it's I don't have flood coolant or a mist rig, but I crank that speed down as low as you can feasibly get it to go that it's just going to continue to work. You can actually turn this you turn it down to where it almost like just the pressure of putting a blade against it will bog it down just right before that. And I just nice even pass. So the Elmax thing was Elmax got a bad name because there was a couple companies that screwed it up and then people just kind of skirted away from it. But if you got like a really good, well heat treated Elmax blade, they're amazing. And I'm afraid that's kind of the issue with some of these steels that, you know, get a bad name. And it's up super like his sharpening Elliott's Elmax is completely different than sharpening Elmax from like what do you want to say? ZT or any of those companies. Even I mean it's even in my Microtech, and they did a pretty good job on it. Elliott's is so hard to sharpen. But then you wind up with the same properties in that Elmax that I really love from 20CV. It's just easier to sharpen than 20CV, a little. So what's everybody been doing for the holidays? I didn't want to turn this into a let's talk about sharpening thing. That's what this channel's about. I know that, but oh, guys, go to Full 30, look up my channel and subscribe. I am going to try to shoot after the beginning of the year. I'm going to try and shoot some videos specifically for Full 30. Oh, I'm using his heat treat for my Eisen S125V. It's a nightmare. I go through as many belts. I will go, the first belt literally lasts 30 seconds. It's like, if that, like, I knock the corners off, and you're like, that belt's shot. S125V is a nightmare. And it's not even he uses a specific heat treat. It's just like that. We just use the standard, oh, it takes forever. But S125V that I've done, Matt has one of the original Sea Snake fixed blade, custom fixed blades. Hey, there's 10 of us here and only 4 likes. Let's try and get those numbers up. That's how we. At any rate, it's the S125V. I've only ever sharpened Matt's knife once, and we cut down an entire box that his his lawn furniture, his patio furniture came in, like a couch, a fire pit, and 2 chairs. Actually, it was 2 couches and a chair and a fire pit, like a gas fire pit. We cut down that entire cardboard. He used that knife all day, and it was still sharp at the end of the day. I've never, ever seen anything like that. Hang on a second. Somebody's at my door. Hi, Gail. Hang on a second. I'm in the middle of a video. So.
That's a resume.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
I told Devin I would look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to replace bottom line.
We need to. And I've said, even if we don't do outside management, Don's not.
I've already talked to Don and literally said, you need,
The other thing too is I've talked to him, me and Devin have talked to him like 5 times about get some shirts on order, get the guys the money that we're supposed to be giving them. It's in the budget, the $50 a month. If we're There we go, guys. Sorry about that. It was the HOA stuff. Okay, Maximet, I don't even have to discuss this. If you go back and you find the second day of Blade Show West last year, I talked with Big Brown Bear, Sean Houston, about that for, probably 20 minutes of that 30-minute video. I was dealing, like, Maximet on a factory grind, it's not going to be great. It's always going to be hard to sharpen. It's going to want to try to chip. It's too steep. It's just not. Sean did Maximet, did it super thin. I was sharpening a knife on the video with Sean. So that's one of those things where, it was completely different. So I don't think that Maximet should be used in a production knife model because of the angles. And the fact is, you always wind up getting something that somebody has just screwed up badly. And I'm convinced my head is just crooked. It's not my hat, it's my head. My head's crooked. I've gotten pretty good at cutting my own hair. Okay, so for the Navy, I mean, I would want something that's not going to rust. For most of the things you're ever going to use on the ship, you're not going to be able to have, like, if you're just, like, I was boots on ground, expeditionary combat, and places like that. So you are going to be able to carry a much more robust or a much wider variant and things of knives. There's most of the time you're on a ship. There's sometimes in the Navy, unless you're a bosun mate, you can't even carry a knife. So the rules are different. It's not like you think of it like on a ship. I always carried a knife, but I was a gunner's mate. Gunner's mates always are cutting something. We have boxes. We always cut in line, stuff like that. You want something that's fairly rust resistant. You're going to be in a saltwater environment all the time. Don't go with anything that's going to rust. I would stick with, in all honesty, no. S30V is going to be a nightmare because it chips. I just talked about it. It chips really easily. You want something that's going to be easy to sharpen. I'm going to tell you right now the steel that I'm thinking. It's going to be easy to sharpen, easy to maintain, not really expensive, and it's going to be fairly corrosion resistant. And there's two things that pop into mind. Well, there's three. One of the nitrogen-based steels. There you go. One of the nitrogen-based steels. I don't recommend going with that Spider. I don't like the H1 steel. So if they have a different steel that they're using that's nitrogen-based. But AR-RPM 9, some of those folding knives that Artisan has made, you're in a budget area. The reason I say that is people will steal your shit, even if they don't need it. If it's not nailed down, somebody's going to try and steal it. So I'm going with something that's affordable and actually really good option for what you would need on the ship. About the right size frame would be something like the Feldspar. If you want to spend the money and have it, a Sebenza is right around in the same. That's S35VN. That's a really good all-around steel that's not going to rust too badly. Anything S35VN, any of that Artisan AR-RPM 9 CR18 MOV, which is kind of close to the composition that's in the AR-RPM 9. It's just got some other stuff. Nitro V is, but when you get into Nitro V, a lot of those Nitro V knives are a little bit more expensive. It's kind of a newer. Don't take that and have it anywhere where it's valuable to you on the ship. I'm telling you right now, you can't take it to boot camp with you. leave that somewhere where you can come back to it after, because when you first join the Navy, you're not going to have an apartment. You're going to live on the ship or in the barracks. Leave that somewhere where it's not going to disappear. It's not going to get stolen. And you can come back to it when you're further along in your naval journey, and you might have an apartment, or you might get married, you might live in housing, all those things. But I'm telling you right now, with the amount of space you're going to have on a ship, and the fact that things get broken into and stolen, all it takes is one time leaving your locker unlocked. OS 10, I was going to say OS 10's not too bad. 20 CV is something that's going to be harder to sharpen. I'm going with something that's along easier lines of maintenance. And that's why I said AR RPM 9, because you can strap that on cardboard. So I love this coffee cup. So it's just, don't take anything that you don't want to lose. I managed. I have the first knife I was ever given. I did not take that with me when I joined the Navy. I didn't go and get that knife until I was married by the time that knife made it back to where I was at. That's not true. That is not true. Nope. That's not true, because I remember I had it. I guess I got it the first time I went back, because I carried that knife around in my pocket to a lot of places. I just now was thinking about that. I had it in Bali and Bahrain and Kuwait and Iraq and all those places. So what was that? Cerakote is not. Yeah, Cerakote, that's the other thing. If it's something that you got your initials and stuff, like it got it engraved, I wouldn't carry it at all, because Cerakote really, really rusts. It really, really, not rusts. Cerakote slicks up, and it scratches and it chips really easy. Not rusts. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm thinking of two things at once. So Cerakote is not a real strong, lasting coating. So I would recommend putting that in a box and saving it, and then making a display for it, because I have things that my father gave me that I used to the point where they are ruined. And I think back on it, and I was like, in hindsight being 2020, and it's, I wish I had not done that. I have things that my father gave me that have been lost and stolen and things like that. And I'm like, hindsight being 2020, I would have put those items somewhere. But Steve, you're right. It's sad to say. I have lost so many things and had so many things stolen from me in the Navy. I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of. I went to sea school. Okay, Ethan. I went to a total of. I'd have to get my ACE record. I think 10 different NECs. So I have 10 different sea schools. 5-inch, 3-inch 50, 25 millimeter depot, elevator maintenance and repair. Don't be an MA. That's the dumbest. Don't do that. You're not going to be able to get a job when you get out. No one wants Navy. MAs used to be great. Don't be an MA. It's like the worst. I'm telling you, it's like the worst rate to have, because even when you're on shore duty, you're working nothing, and you need to stay away from it, because it's not the job. It's the fact that they are going to work you to death. No joke. Those guys will do an 8-10 hour shift. They don't get days off. They're fucking doing harbor security. They rotate. They work. Like, if you're on shore duty, you expect shore duty, that's great. No. Running a police station is a 24-hour gig. So while everyone else in the Navy is taking a vacation, guess what you're doing? You're working. When everybody else in the Navy is taking a day off because it's a holiday, guess what you're doing? You're working. When it's fucking 10 o'clock at night and everybody's out having a beer on a Friday, guess what you're doing? You're working. If you want to enjoy your naval career, I'm telling you, do not be an MA. I worked at the base security department, and I'm telling you right now, I would not have done that job. There are so many things I would have done other than that job. I was a gunner's mate. I loved it. Like, I cried when they told me I had to retire. There are 20 people here and only 10 lakes. Yeah, do it. Do a gunner's mate. I had a room with my name on the door, a big bulletproof room full of machine guns with my name on the door, and I had the key to it. Worked in a 5-inch gun system. That gun fires a 72-pound projectile, twice the speed of sound for 13 miles, whose impact is associated with a bright light, a loud noise, and a rapid going away of things. "72-pound projectile." I know children that don't weigh that. It's like shooting my dog out of a gun. So at any rate, this was basically just to tell you guys this is probably the only content you're going to get. I have a video that I can put together. It's just me and my daughter. I can use, you know, I can get that video put up. I can use that video as content. It actually is a lot of fun. You guys, I filmed it for you guys, and I just thought about it. But oh God, what else is? Oh Jesus, I don't even want to fucking know. I'm afraid. I'm afraid now. Ah, so yeah, there you go, Steve. Technical rate. Like I said, I have so much college credit just from being a gunner's mate in the Navy. You know, electronics, solid state electronics, electrical theory. I have instructor certs. I have elevator maintenance and repair. Railguns are stupid. There's no reason that you should fire anything that you don't smell cordite. That's dumb. It smells like ozone. Nah, you walk outside, you're like, that smells like death. Rail guns aren't real guns. I mean, Corman, if you like people, Corman's a good job. I hate serrated knives. If you want a serrated knife, get a solely serrated knife. Keep that for cutting specific things. And I don't like, I don't have one here, but I can show you. There's so many knives laying around. Let me see if I can find one. Let me see if I can find one. There's knives on every horse. Yes, I don't have a knife in my pocket. I don't think I have any more. Here's the thing. If you're talking to guys that are my age or older that have not been around the Navy for a while, they're going to tell you MA is great because they remember what it used to be like. Do I have a partially serrated knife here? I do not. So I have a completely serrated knife. But I'll show you on this what I'm going to talk about. CTR, that's great if you like working inside a room all the time. So what happens on serrated knives is when they start grinding in these serrations, where they come to the split on the partially serrated, there's always a low spot and the edge gets really, really asymmetrical. As a matter of fact, I do have one here. I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. So edges on them wind up getting screwed up because they are really cautious on the side that is, where's Nico's knife? Here it is. They're really cautious about, well, EOD, that's Special Forces. You can't just come in as EOD. You have got to be in for a little bit and then apply, and then you have to go through a selection process. So on this, you can see real clearly how asymmetrical that edge is, and it's because they ground one side with the serrations, and then this side, what happens is to try and not get into those serrations, they change their angle a little bit. And then so with this being deeper, a lot of times you wind up with a really asymmetrical edge and then a spot here where you're going to lose those first two serrations when you sharpen it because taking off that material, it drops down in. It was a cork. It was a cork from a champagne bottle. But yeah, this that's what you wind up with. There's a lot. I don't like, if you get a serrated knife, get a serrated knife. Keep a small serrated knife if you need it for cutting line and things like that, because they'd work exceedingly well for it. But if you're gonna do it, get one that is a good brand. Cold Steel does not do a real great job on that, on their serrations. Their serrations a little tight. I do have to admit, I think of all the serrations, as much as I complain about the company, I think as far as serrated knives, I think Spyderco has it in the bag with the best serration pattern. I think this is about the best pattern for cutting just about anything. And it does, it cuts like a champ. But I don't cut anything that heavy anymore than I need a serrated knife. I'm not cutting line and things like that. I'd much rather have just a plain edge. So I don't like them. They're too big. Pretty much any partially serrated knife. What's going on, Jared? Yeah, I mean, this Protex, and Protex are always got some sort of misgrind and everything to it. This one is really, really bad. Let's see, can you see it? It's horribly, it's almost a chisel, the tip. Okay, I'll show you a classic serration pattern from Cold Steel. This is Cold Steel's typical serration pattern. It's the same pattern they use on their knives. This is a Cold Steel kitchen knife. See the difference in the size of the scallops and the cut-ins? One, I can resharpen this. And this one is just a horrible, horrible. There are some things that serrated knives are really good for. There we go. What was that one? Lansky has a sharpener. Yeah, it's great. I have one. It still does not work great for sharpening. I have one. I'm going to tell you right now, you're better off with a rod, because it's not got a round spot for, that's the thing that irritates me about all of those. Oh, use this for serrated. They're all like angular and stuff. And then what happens is, instead of keeping a rounded point here, because I have sharpened this one, instead of keeping a rounded point here, what happens is you get a V in it. So for Spyderco's, it's a perfect fit. This is what I use on my Spyderco, is this rod. And then in the areas in between, if this was chainsaw, I would call those chippers, and that's a cutter tooth, and then the chippers. You use a V. And this one, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've sharpened this a few times. But this is a self-defense tool. And I cut things with it just to see if it would do it. So this is a self-defense tool. This is my left-hand carry. As my brother-in-law says, always be wary of a large man with a sharp object in each pocket and a good knowledge of human anatomy. So, yeah, it's just been, I don't like the wave feature. I personally hate most of the waved featured knives because you can inadvertently deploy them when you pull out of your pocket. I choose when I deploy this knife. If I pull this out of my pocket and it snaps open, that's great. Some knives I would want that on. Like if I'm pulling at karambit, it's coming out for one reason. I don't like the idea that I pull this out of my pocket, and that karambit does not deploy when I don't want it to. The wave feature, I think, is silly unless you have a specific need for it. I don't like, the other thing too is I don't like the way that it looks. I personally don't like the Emerson Wave feature aesthetically. I think it looks retarded. I know that's not a real great word, but to use for anything, but I don't like it. And you will not find a knife with an actual Emerson Wave feature in my collection anywhere. As a matter of fact, I think I only have one knife that is even waveable, period. I've made comments about that before. Ernie Emerson may have tried to say that he does. Okay, let's go back to the whole thing. Hang on a second here. I'm going to go grab the one knife that I have that does have a wave feature-esque. I personally think that it doesn't make any sense the way he tries to say that it was for yeah, I still have a Spartan and it deploys well. This is the only one and the nice thing about this is this one does not deploy if I don't want it to. This has that feature, in and out of pocket. Hey, what's up, Nick? I was just telling everybody, if you have knives with me, it's gonna be a little bit until after the holidays. So, like, I deployed that without. Now, if I want to deploy it with, right there, I make the choice. Most of the Emerson Wave features are so large and catch so easily that there is really, like, you pull it out of your pocket and it's just going to deploy. I don't necessarily want to do that in public. I can take the Wave feature clear off of this one. But then it also has a flipper. So, I mean, I really don't like the Wave feature on much anything. I do like it on this. And that's the other thing. Like the Wave feature was said to have been like he tried to make a way to catch a blade, like a blade breaker. Like if you would have to be ridiculously well trained to think that you're going to be able to, I can block that knife with this knife. That's not how. I mean, really, I've taken martial arts since I was like 8, and in any of the weapon stuff, they always tell you, look, you're going to get cut. Period. If you're in a fight with a knife, you're going to get cut. And then they tell you, like, don't try to block with your blade. That's not how it works. You move out of the way of that blade. And so everybody's saying, like, well, Ernie designed it like this because martial arts. Ernie is a martial artist, and that's what tells me it's bullshit. Anytime you're taking martial arts, the best way to not get cut is not to try and block or catch a blade with a feature on your knife. It's to not be there when that blade comes to where you were. You're not going to block it with your knife. You know what you're going to block it with? You're going to block it with a block and get in close. So, I mean, there are tools that are designed for a blade catcher, but they're huge. Like the Japanese batons, they had a hook on them, and you could catch the blade and then twist it. And you know. So, I did Kwan Mukan Karate and Shirinji Kempo, both. Kwan Mukan Karate, we did weapon stuff. I heard that he made it and then sent it to the special forces, to specifically the SEALs. And then I made a comment on a video the other day. I had made a video about the Emersons, and one guy came in, and I was like, I told him, I was like, don't fall for hype. He was a young kid, and I was like, don't fall for this hype. Anyone in the military will tell you, just because something is given to you and issued does not mean it's your choice of carry. The reason I designed the Stonefish was because I never had a combat knife I liked, so I designed my own. Yes, I had plenty of knives issued to me, but they were never what I wanted, so I designed my own. Just because you issued that knife to the SEALs doesn't mean they fucking carry it. It doesn't. It just means that it was given to them. So anyway, guys, it's been like 40 minutes. I have a few things that I need to do. Just letting you guys know. If you got knives in with me, there's a good chance I'm not going to get to them till the first of the year. Nick's, your knives are done. I just have not shipped them out. I haven't really done much anything. I apologize, guys. I haven't shot any videos. So after the first year, I do have some stuff I'm going to film. I have a video that I'm going to try to cobble together today and put up tomorrow. But basically, it's just me and my daughter going around looking at Christmas lights. So it might not be up your alley. It'll be a family day vlog. Actually, it's just daddy-daughter evening. So yeah, guys, I'm going to get off here and spend some more time with my family. Here's the thing. I'm not working. I can't go back to work until like March. I'm not working. The wife and kid are off. I don't control that. We Knife Company has the license for that. I can't go to another company and say, hey, we're going to do this. I have got to get We Knife Company's permission, and I doubt if they want to have competing designs. So at any rate, we'll see. It's something I've thought about, doing a Stonefish 2.0. So at any rate, I will get that video, tried to put it together. I've got to shoot some other videos. If you've got knives here, I'm going to get started on them next week. And I should have more time to film because my daughter's physical therapy is running to an end now. She's had 20 sessions. I'm not going to have to drive. Like, I'm not driving at all this week up to the 400 miles a week. So hopefully I'll have more time to do some videos, more time to get into some of these things. But this, like I said, right now, I'm not working. The wife and kid are both off from school. The kid's pretty much off from skating until except for like one session a day. So it's just, this is family time. So I really haven't had that all year, even though I've been off. It's just been hectic. So you guys take it easy. I'll see you in the next video. Yeah, she's healing up. It's still tender. But guys, I'm gonna get off here. It's been like 45 minutes. Take it easy. I dropped some F-bombs in this, so I doubt if you're gonna see many commercials in the replay of this if you happen to watch it. All right, take it easy. See you next time.